how can we do a podcast if we threw everything out from the morning show?
I thought we were done. We were talking about Taylor this morning.
This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, 1 week ahead of Black Friday. Flying along, November 18th today.
Oh, yeah. Is it ever?
Flipping the switch in Jane Forrester Park tonight for the Festival of Lights. Santa arrives in Brighton with their Santa Claus Parade. Belleville's is on Sunday night at 4:30. We had Susan on this week, and off it goes. I had a Rice Krispie square this morning that changed my life. Oh my gosh, I love those. And then we're off and running.
Pretty much. It feels that way. Doesn't it feel that way?
Yep.
This week, it has felt that way.
And today's weather did everything to move that along as well.
Certainly.
Ton of snow today.
And it does make it that much more, it makes me much more aware that, yeah, it's right there. Ever since we talked about how we should be doing our Christmas shopping now, I have felt this underlying, I don't want to say pressure.
Sense of dread.
Stress.
I don't mean to do that because the whole idea is to decrease it.
No, but it wasn't you. It was just that, okay, no, I've put it off. And I did. I was putting it off. It's kind of like, no, you have to go now. But what I'm loving is, and I saw this morning, and this may alleviate it, and I had one of these moments this week, is we ask ourselves every year, is it okay to re-gift? And the article I found this morning said, yes, embrace it. There is no shame. Do it. Do it as much as you can. Don't hold back.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's for the right reasons and in the right context, yes. And I don't want to keep shining a light on it, but economically, it's kind of nice to have that lifted too. That stigma attached to, oh, you're regifting that?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, good one. You regifted that. Way to go.
Wrong way to do it. I hate this present. You should have it. Wrong. That's wrong.
That is the wrong way.
That's wrong.
That's not the
Another
right way
one
to
is,
regift.
I got this beautiful scarf, but I have 2 or 3 already, and I know you mentioned you wanted one, so here's this one. Proper way to regift.
Exactly.
And as you mentioned, especially with the economy, if it's a question of crossing somebody off your list or having something that you have that you know they would like, but you worry about, for goodness sakes, do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely do it. And
That's the 2 things they point out, the intent and being honorable while doing it. And there is a bit of honesty there too, because they said, you know what, there's nothing wrong too, doing it the right way, saying to them, I got this, but when I saw it, I immediately thought of you.
Yes.
So I'm going to give it to you because I know that this is more you and you are going to love this.
Now, we've just talked about the people who do it. If you received it, wouldn't you enjoy that gift?
Knowing that they
thought of me. And when you opened it and said, oh my gosh, I love this. And the fact that my friend, spouse, child said, I saw this and thought of you. And when you opened it, you said, this is me. Wow. What kind of a gift? That's the best part of the gift.
That's the best.
Isn't that what it's all about?
Exactly. That's a great way to do it.
And maybe the last 3 years would have taught us that. Let me take you a step back.
Okay.
Starting next week on the American Thanksgiving, every commercial you see on television will be about Christmas, right?
100%.
When you watch football games, every other commercial that is Christmas will be about a luxury car. And then on Christmas morning, they go out in the driveway and she opens her eyes and there's a Lexus with a bow on it. And that always bothers me because 0.0000001% of the population will buy somebody a Lexus for Christmas. And I always think back to the plot of Jim Carrey's The Grinch, where he got mad at everybody because it's all about the money and not about the spirit. And I think, yeah, I get it. Like when was Christmas all about everybody gets a Lexus?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to just, not having those expectations where if it wasn't a big price tag, it wasn't a good gift.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we back up a little bit, and this is a good thing. This is a great thing.
Absolutely. It's quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's coming back to. And I think we've seen more of that, especially, and again, I hate doing this because we're out of it, but going back the last couple of years,
yeah,
I think it has shone a light on what we hold dearest, what our perception, our what's the word I'm looking for? Our priorities, where we place things and the importance we put on things has changed, certainly. In fact, according to a new study, 38% of us are even going to buy secondhand this year.
There you go.
And yes, we may be pinching our pennies a little bit more, but yeah, why not reuse something? Why not pass it forward and put it out there? And honestly, I was doing that this week. One of my favorite stores in Belleville is a secondhand store. Yeah. I get the best deals.
Oh, I could tell everybody, right?
Exactly.
So good.
And I'm quite proud of it. But yeah, I saw some stuff in there and I thought, there's nothing wrong with this.
No,
and I'm
I know,
going to pick this up and re-gift it.
And now the importance then becomes, if we're going to spend less money, it is more important than ever to shop local.
Absolutely.
To make sure that every dollar stays in your community. And, supply chain issues and...
Less money, but we're also more careful as to where we spend it. So yes, shop local, support our neighbors.
Don't waste going online, finding out it's going to be later and it wasn't what you want, all that stuff. No, go in, look at it.
There's so many opportunities right here. Yeah. So many great... And there's lots of opportunities to get out and do that. The launch of the Christmas market... in downtown, the Enchanted Christmas Market is now on every weekend now until Christmas. We have the pop-ups this weekend on Sunday as part of the pre-parade events. There's so many opportunities to get out and support our local retailers. Then do it.
Absolutely. Do it. Give them a great holiday season. And we'll all feel better for it on Christmas morning.
Of course we will.
Virtually guaranteed. Speaking of then going old school, shall we talk about this problem online with Ticketmaster and Taylor Swift?
I think we would be remiss if we did not.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it brought to mind another fiasco with tickets not that long ago.
Happened right here in Belleville, didn't it?
Right here in our own backyard. And everybody was up in arms and it was crazy. And then this is a much larger scale, how quickly it can go wrong.
If you had the tickets for the preseason game, September 30th at the CAA Arena with Toronto and Ottawa, and the problems that the organization had trying to control the flow of tickets once they left the box office. And we had David Foote on the show and on the podcast here talking about the eye-opening of what happens because the secondary ticket market is a beast. It jumps on every little thing and you lose control. And I'm not saying
after thinking you're doing everything right and you're trying to
that
put
was the point I was going to make. Don't say that they were naive.
No.
They put everything in place that they were told to put in place to control it. And
it's still
these guys at the secondary markets, they're well beyond. I mean, the NFL can't control it. What makes us think we could, right? But they learned that. And so now Taylor Swift's virtually sold out. These same regular seats were supposed to go on sale today. And Ticketmaster said, screw that. We're not even going to bother. So they just shut down.
Yeah.
So supposedly, her entire tour now is sold out for cajillions of dollars. And I'm going to guarantee nobody who are fans got the tickets.
That was my question to you after reading this. When they said they weren't going to put general admission tickets or because it was the pre-sale for fans. So you got a special code or quote unquote fans. You got a special code to do it. And then everything else would go on sale today. Well, there wasn't much of everything else. But even with the pre-sale, how many of those tickets, because they said too it was an inventory issue as well. They just didn't have enough for the want to go on sale today. And it was going to crash again. How many of the tickets sold in the pre-sale actually went to a Taylor Swift fan? A genuine, how many of those sales was just two tickets, a mom and daughter who wanted to go see Taylor Swift when she came to a city near them?
Single-digit percentages, less than 10%. Because 100%. As a commodity, it is a massive fundraiser for somebody. Like when somebody then puts a pair of tickets for the seats in Atlanta on a secondary market for $35,000 a ticket.
And that wasn't even the highest because now we're hearing reports that it's even higher than that.
So they got in there and they bought their $400 tickets, their $500 two for $1,000.
Even that
and
I
then
find
turned
ridiculous.
It around, and said $35,000, sat and waited for somebody. It's not a Taylor Swift fan. They took advantage of the fact that it's the most expensive.
And this isn't new. This has been going on for years. This, of course, I think is the first, I shouldn't say of course, but I think this is the first time we've seen it on such a big scale, on such an excessively erroneous, disgusting scale.
That's a great point, because it had to get to this before people said, whoa, and maybe this is the whoa moment. I'm going to go back. I don't think I have all the details right, nor do I care if I do, because I don't want to let that get in the way of a good story. But somebody tells me the Rolling Stones said that they didn't want to use Ticketmaster because they found that tickets were going to secondary markets and other people. And I remember reading that 25 years ago and saying, what is he talking about? How does this happen? And then as I read it, it's like, oh, you can buy them on this thing called the internet. This was like way back. And it's like, oh, they were just sort of transferring these tickets over there. And they were suddenly realizing that, wait a minute, our fans aren't getting them. They're going somewhere else. And so we don't want to use Ticketmaster. And then so naive me, I think, oh, well, they solved that problem. No, they didn't.
And I wonder, you had a great idea, and I want you, and we'll share that in a minute, but I wonder if Taylor Swift now, what her action's going to be.
Yeah.
Because I would hope that, being who she is, she would see all of this ruckus and ridiculousness and be like, okay, you know what? I'm pulling them all back. Like, this is not okay. This is not how I want my I don't want to be seen this way. I don't want my show to be sold this way. I don't want them to end up on resale sites. I want my fans there. So now what am I going to do?
Yeah,
How can I fix this?
She's thinking, what I don't want is when people type in Taylor Swift, up comes outrageous ticket prices. I don't want to be famous for being right.
I realize she needs to make money, but this is
hang on.
This is ridiculous.
Don't think for a second she's getting this money, right? Like, she's getting the money for the $400.
Yes. So someone else is cashing in on this.
$35,000. Yes. She doesn't get that. So if you think, well, what does she care? She's going to make more money. No. She's not getting any more of this.
No, but by pulling it back, I realize, that initial sale.
Sure, for sure.
But you're right. Wait a minute. We saw how she went after Scooter Braun for her library. Yeah. I would hope that same action would be taken against these resale sites or these people who are scooping up these tickets.
Yeah.
From her quote-unquote fans. Now, again, you had an idea this morning, and it crossed my mind, too, and I thought, is this what we need to go back to?
Here's the thing. We just talked about it with regifting. I think you got to take Ticketmaster offline. I know it's ridiculous. Mark, it's 2022. It's not going to happen. Okay. Then my answer is, very quickly, then this is the way it's going to be, period. If you don't want it to be this way, I need you to tell me a better way. Then if you want to see her show in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium where the Atlanta Falcons play football, then you drive down there and you stand in line and you buy your tickets and they give you a stub and you go home, and that night you go in and you give your ticket and then you go sit down. If there's another way, I don't know it. That's the only way I remember. I remember lining up for Springsteen tickets for the Born in the USA tour in 1985 for hours. And you know who was in line? Fans. We fans were in line. Fans got the tickets. The people who bought the tickets went to the show. It was
at a reasonable price.
Yeah. In fact, it was a little bit more, but I think I paid the $44 to see Bruce Springsteen instead of maybe $25 any other artist might have charged. Back in 1985, Madonna was 15. How will we ever spend that kind of money? $44 to sit at a horrible spot at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, but you were there. I wouldn't spend $400 to sit at the other end of the arena, even if it was Taylor Swift. That's not an experience for me. Mm-hmm. I'm mad I spent that much. It's not fun. If I had a kid and they said they wanted to be there, and that was great. Okay, that's your experience. But $400, $1,000, knowing Taylor Swift doesn't get that money. She only thought that seat was worth $75.
Well, and that's why
I got to pay $1,000.
Even at $400, I find it ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this creates the other side of it, saying how high is too high for not resale, but to buy the ticket itself. We mentioned we all know what Toronto Maple Leafs tickets go for.
Yeah.
My husband's a huge Maple Leaf fan. Will I ever buy him tickets to a Maple Leafs game? It will be for him and I. It will be in the nosebleeds, and maybe once the kids are out of the house.
Yeah.
There's no way the four of us will go to a Leafs game in Toronto.
Yeah.
We will go to Ottawa because we can afford to go to Ottawa.
Exactly.
The family.
Right. See an NHL game.
To see them play.
Well, I don't want to dump on them, but I've been at some Leaf games where the seats around the ice, there are a number of empty seats during the national anthem, and then about the 10-minute mark of the first period, the suits come in. Yeah. from Bay Street or wherever the rich people are who can afford it, or spiff their clients or whatever. And then they're gone with 4 minutes to go in the period, so they can go get a roast beef sandwich for $100 and a beer. And then they're back with about 8 minutes gone in the second period. And after a while, it just bothers me.
Yeah.
Put kids down there. Give kids those seats. They can't afford them.
And again, not to dump on the Leafs, but it's just an example of
a
ticket
hot commodity.
prices.
Yes, a hot commodity.
That have gotten to the point where it is becoming unaffordable for fans, for families, and you can argue this too, but it's not a right. No, it is.
True.
It is something special.
Free market.
Exactly. And I understand that. But for an event such as an NHL game or Taylor Swift concert that you would think families would be able to enjoy, it is becoming less accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
For the price of tickets, and then these resale sites come on board, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. And
It's
so
becoming more and more
my
the divide.
point is, if anybody says, well, what are we going to do about it? Well, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then somebody's got to come up with something. But to me, just pull it offline. Sorry, you don't get to do it online. But then what do? You're going to take plane tickets off or hotel rooms when they go up? And okay, I get it. I get it isn't an answer.
Yes.
But at some point, we've got to find a way for the people who want to buy tickets to go buy tickets and want to go to the show.
You save up now. It used to be you'd save up maybe for a family vacation,
right?
Or something like that. Now we got to save up. I hear Taylor Swift's hitting the road in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, if I start saving now,
right?
Maybe I can get in.
Kids, we can't go to Disney World for 2 years now because we're going to buy tickets in case Taylor Swift has a concert within 200 miles of here.
Exactly.
And all she wants to charge you is $75 for a decent seat, and I got it for somebody of that talent. $2,000?
Yeah.
$5,000? No, because she's not getting that money.
Well, and
she doesn't think that it's worth that much. God bless her.
You made the comment the other day when the price of the tickets that did sell came out to sit on the floor at the $35,000.
Right.
And you did make the comment. She better be performing in front of me, and I better be helping her play the guitar.
I'm either sitting on a bar stool beside her, or sitting on her lap, and I'm strumming the guitar with her for $35,000. And then when the concert's over, she's going to come home and mow my lawn. Like, I'm sorry, for that kind of money?
Exactly.
Holy smokes. And I'm sitting up there, and then I got to pay what for a beer and how much to park my car. And
so ridiculous.
And she's not getting any of it. She's not getting that.
Not that.
And again, she didn't think it was worth that. That's why she didn't set that ticket price.
So no, it's not her fault, but it's still going to reflect on her. That's why I hope that she comes down and supports her fans. And really
comes up with an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't want to go old and sound old, like, oh yeah, you just want to go back to. I don't, because I can't find another way.
Do you think that's why Ticketmaster shut it down today? Do you think something's going on in the background? She's already.
Wouldn't that be great?
Her lawyers and her people have already come at Ticketmaster and said, "What the f? Like, what is going on with you guys? What's happened
we
here?
We are never, ever, ever
not
getting back together."
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be something?
Exactly.
If she yanked. I mean, something's got to happen.
Because they've never shut down a sale like this.
But you're right. Like, we've been talking about it. It's been building. There's got to be a moment, like a Napster moment, when an artist says,
it made
no.
Major
and it was
news
Metallica.
Last night.
Yeah. And now, will Taylor Swift say no and will crush the entire secondary ticket market because a new thing will come in?
She brings
There's
them
already
all
discussion
down.
about Congress having an antitrust put on with the monopoly that is Ticketmaster. You know, the government, they're not going to solve it. I mean, they can talk about it all they want, but
they're not going to do it.
You know, before we know it.
But Taylor Swift.
She could.
Taylor Swift could.
Atta girl. Go for it. That's crazy.
Oh, I hope so.
But it's nuts.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Join us for the Pulse on Monday when she changes the world. It would be amazing. Coming up Sunday, we're going to see you down at the parade.
We certainly
I got my black pants and my black coat. They keep telling me wear colors. It's like, don't have any.
Well, you had a Santa hat last year.
I'm going to have a red Santa hat, and maybe I'll go around and look for a red brooch or something that was Santa face.
Do you have a scarf? Do you have a nice Santa scarf, or just a red scarf?
I'll bring my Belleville Senator's red scarf.
There you go.
Would that be okay?
That would be perfect.
That's what I'm going to wear. Thank you. And my red Santa hat.
You have yours. I've been thinking about it the last couple. I haven't decided.
Do you want me to re-gift mine to you? Would you like to wear one?
I think I have a
scarf.
white. I think I have a white Belleville Senator scarf.
Aren't we gross, everybody?
I think if you're going to wear yours.
I'll wear the red one, for sure.
I'll dig mine out.
Nice.
And and Nathan might let me wear his Santa hat. Maybe I can borrow a Santa hat too.
4:30 along Bridge Street it begins. If it takes a while to get up there. So if you live on Bridge Street, you know, like up around Bleecker or something. It's not going to get
East
there
End.
about
You've got some
5:30.
time.
You got a little bit of time.
Little
But
bit
if
of
you
time.
want, text me. I'll tell you it's coming. It's a pinnacle.
But that being said, if you are in the East End, there's the Reindeer Park,
Yeah.
Landmore House.
Landmore House.
There are some activities going on pre-parade and then at the beginning of the parade as well. So you can get into the holiday spirit, waiting for the parade to
Have
come.
a fabulous weekend. They're going to flip the lights in Jane Forster Park tonight for the Festival of Lights at 6, I believe. That's going to be going on. And then just enjoy it all weekend long. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast back again on Monday. What will happen with students on Monday? Check inquinty.ca throughout the weekend for the latest on that. And wake up with Mark and Charity mornings at 95.5 Hits FM. We'll talk to you then.